A very good evening to all of you. This is Devanand Manirao. I'm very happy to welcome all of you on behalf of Edureka for this webinar on Salesforce.com. So just before we move ahead with the presentation, I would like to just ensure you're all able to hear me. In case there is an issue, please feel free to highlight. Okay, so looks like we are good to start. So just a quick introduction about myself. I'm Devanand Manirao. I have around 18 years of experience in the IT industry, out of which the last 5 to 6 years have been on Salesforce. I've been heading the Salesforce practice for one of the top IT MNCs in India, based out of India. We have executed projects for different marquee customers, right from financial services, insurance, telecom, big names in the US, in the Europe region, UK, and also in Asia, APAC region. So cutting across different verticals, be it manufacturing, big names like Toyota or Nissan, or be it financial services, big names like American Express, Bank of America, just to name a few, take a few names. So I also have 2 certifications myself to my credit, and I have been very actively involved in framing the competency building framework, part of my practice. So we had a large practice of more than 500 to 600 people, cutting across 40 to 50 customers. At any point of time, we would be executing more than 60 to 70 projects for different customers in Salesforce. So the challenge was to come with a competency framework that would really help us scale people quickly, right, and also gain the expertise in Salesforce, right. So we had come with a very comprehensive competency building framework that was internal to our organization, wherein we had a very detailed plan in terms of what sort of certifications or what sort of competency building training the team can undergo, and be ready and be productive as quickly as possible, right? So that was my main focus area apart from running the practice. So we were fairly successful in with that competency framework, which was also well appreciated by the vendor Salesforce themselves as part of a vendor evaluation or the Salesforce Alliance partnership, right? So that's in a nutshell introduction about myself. So today we'll spend some time on understanding what is Salesforce and what options are there for people who are very keen to have a start to their careers in Salesforce, and there could be different questions from you, right? What sort of courses are available? Where should I start? And what sort of path should I plan over the next quarters, or how should my career be planned, right, in Salesforce? So we'll be more than happy to help you out. So part of the overall Salesforce offerings from Edureka. So the administrator foundation course is one of the most important course that we are launching, wherein we are helping you take the first step in the Salesforce world, right? And Salesforce being the #1 cloud computing package, will help you take the right step in the right direction, the right first steps, and then also the subsequent steps, right? So this is in a nutshell the objectives that we are going to cover here, right, in this course, in this webinar today. And also you can feel free to punch in your questions on the the questions window, and we'll be more than happy to share with all the audience and then answer them, right? So I'm sure most of you would be from a typical, you know, say, we have seen folks from, say, typical Java, .NET, or even mainframes and AS400 backgrounds, right, who have spent 5 to 6 years, 10 years uh, in all these technologies looking for a change, right? And there are a set of people who are functional experts who want to make a switch to Salesforce. So they have spent a lot of time on, say, PeopleSoft or Siebel CRM, different areas, right? So there are a good number of people, a mix of people, or there are a good number of people who want to get into the IT world. They have some other experience in different domains, or rank freshers. So there is something for everyone in Salesforce, and there are a good number of people who have made a very successful careers in Salesforce. And the good thing is the demand for Salesforce is continuously increasing. That's the very positive thing, and we'll see how what Salesforce is, and just a quick background about Salesforce. So Salesforce, it started off 16 to 17 years ago, right? Sometime in the 1998, 99 period, as more of a CRM, right? Salesforce, right? So as the name says, it was more for customer relationship management, sales, service and marketing. That's how it started. And the most important thing they did was they started off as a cloud computing package, right? So in the good old days of IT, where we're still on mainframes, you have to procure, say, your servers and hardwares for running a Siebel application, or running your ERPs, running your HR applications, right? Be it on Java platform, or down the line, we also had .NET and all that, right? WebLogic, WebSphere. So Salesforce decided one very important thing. They said, we'll go 100% on the cloud right from day one. And I think that was the greatest decision they made back in 16, 17 years back, which has yielded tremendous results over the last 15 to 16 years, particularly after the 2008, 2009 slowdown. So Salesforce as a CRM, package, right, or as a platform, is one of the leaders, is number one in the market in the cloud CRM space. And of course, they do have a overall, 40% market share. And it's not just a sales or a CRM package today, right? It has evolved over the years. You can build ERP, you can build HR apps, you can build different, financial services apps. So there are different customers using it for different purposes, not just for a CRM, the way it started off 10 15 years back. And they are a $5 billion company, and they're expected to grow at a very healthy compounded annual growth rate of 30 to 40% in the next 5 to 7 years, right? So their vision is to become a $20 billion company in the next 5 to 7 years. And a good number of customers who are on Siebel and other CRM packages are switching to Salesforce. That is one very big trend that's happening today. It's not a new trend. It's been happening, and it's picking pace, right? And there are several customers who are migrating. There are legacy apps which are running on the premises, right, to the cloud, right? So when the 2008 slowdown hit everyone very hard, right? So Salesforce was the number one choice for many customers because it's completely on the cloud. It helps you avoid all the capex, related to the hardware, procuring licenses and all that. So that's the big, unique proposition they had, right? So Salesforce not just, helps you save on capex, capital expenditure, hardware, software licenses. So in the last 4 to 5 years, if you've seen, the social and mobile platforms have evolved tremendously, right? So the number of mobile users have grown at such a breakneck speed worldwide, right? And today, almost everyone has a smartphone on their hand, right? And at the same time, big data analytics, data science has also grown very fast. So all of you would have heard about the term SMAC, right? Which stands for Social, Mobile, Analytics, and Cloud. And of course, in the last 2 years, you also heard about Internet of Things, which is basically all your devices are connected, right? So your right from your, say if you're a manufacturer like Caterpillar, right? So all your earth moving equipments are connected. They can be centrally controlled. Or if you are in the medical and research field, right? So your sensors, your lab equipments, they're all connected, right? All are equipments and devices which emit a lot of data. And Salesforce has come with a lot of new features. Recently, the last week, there was this big event on Salesforce, which is called as Dreamforce. So they come with some new offerings on the Internet of Things. So Salesforce has all the key ingredients, right, in terms of the so-called digital world we are in today, right? So everyone talks about the digital world, the connected world, Internet of Things, mission communications, all of that, right? So Salesforce has the right ingredients, right? And if you look at the job prospects, right? So today, this is one of the top skills in the market, say right up there with say big data or analytics or any of the other hot technologies, right? Your mobile technologies and all of that, right? So be it in India or be it in the US or be it in Europe, right? So all the top IT companies, be it all the names which are there on the screen, all of them have large Salesforce practices, and they have a huge demand in terms of Salesforce skilled people that they need, right, across the geographies. And the the salary levels that I have indicated here are numbers which I have seen myself. It is not even something that I have heard from someone. I've personally seen people from my own team, right? People from my own practice move within a span of 1 to 2 years. They spend in Salesforce, and these are the salaries they're talking about. Be it in India, be it in the US, the jump is huge, primarily because of the demand and the shortage of skills. And the good thing in Salesforce is they don't just restrict themselves to just large enterprise customers. They cater to all segments, right? So they have more than 150K customers. Be it one of the largest customers could be AT&T, DirecTV, Bank of America, American Express, Telstra in Australia, right? Or some big names, Nestle or Coca-Cola in the US, right? All big names, Nissan, Toyota, all big names have Salesforce. There is no customer, hardly one or two in the UK or Europe, who are very conservative about the data being on the cloud. Except for them, all of them are on Salesforce. Any big name, right? Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Insurance, Aetna, you take AIG, right? American Insurance Group. Any big name you take, they're on Salesforce. Apart from this, a huge number of small and medium segment customers are on Salesforce. So that basically makes the skill very hot, and that's why the demand is there today, right? And of course, you can make your own um, research on this, right, from the popular sites, be it LinkedIn or Glassdoor or any site, right? So Salesforce is right there at the top. And you'll see a lot of activity happening in different forums, different, be it the job sites or be it Salesforce community themselves about the different options available within Salesforce. So who can learn Salesforce, right? So like I said at the beginning of the session, the good thing is It can be picked up by someone who is just out of college, who has completed his degree, or someone who has been on .NET, Java, and looking to switch to something which is new and hot, or someone who has been a CRM consultant, right? CRM expert. He's been on PeopleSoft, HRMS or Siebel CRM, Amdocs Clarify, or any other CRM, ERP, HCM packages. Looking for a change. This is the place to be in, right? And typically, I'll talk about the different levels, different tracks that are there. The good thing is you have something for all people, right? You have something for functional guys, you have something for people who want to be hardcore designer and developers, who live and breathe Java or C#, right? Who are object-oriented experts, gurus, right? So you have something for everyone here. Who are integration experts, you have done, wonderful integrations, SOAP API, REST APIs, XMLs, JSON, everything is there in Salesforce. Or you're an expert in data migration, right? You live and breathe the database side. You have so much scope for someone who has worked on data integration, data migration, and even reporting, right? So recently they also added analytics packages. So someone who's been on data warehousing and worked on other packages, or even, so today there are so many other packages like Tableau and other data visualization tools, right? So Salesforce has launched their new package sometime last year. It's a new offering, Salesforce Wave or Salesforce Analytics, right? So that kind of addresses the analytics related question, right? So, and mobility, right? So if you are a developer who want to write mobile apps on, say, Android platform, right? You have to learn Android programming. If you want to do something on iOS, Apple, you have to learn that separately. The great thing about Salesforce is you develop it for once, right? You don't have to learn Android programming or you don't have to learn iOS programming separately. You just develop it on Salesforce. It is available on your mobile device. Salesforce takes care of it. And you want to bring in all your JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Ajax experience into it. Yes, Salesforce does it for you. So the power of the platform is it supports all the web technologies, integration technologies, and all the security, right? Be it, say, let's say you're a budding designer who want to also become an architect in the future. Salesforce is the place to be in, because today, as per statistics, there are hardly 100 architects in the world. There are only 100 architects, Salesforce certified architects in the world. And that just shows the demand and the difficulty in reaching that state, right? That's kind of your what to say. That's probably like you've done your PhD in Salesforce, right? Your doctorate in Salesforce. So that's the kind of career path that is there today in Salesforce, right? And it supports all the latest things, right? You want to be a mobile developer, you're a great web developer, yes, you're already a JavaScript guru, you're most welcome. You know Java, you know C#, you're expert in object-oriented programming, you're most welcome. So it kind of offers so much scope for almost all types of people, right, in the IT industry. So this is typically the certification roadmap, right? So the best place to start for anyone, right? Even you could be a good, Java programmer. You can always start at the administrator step, right? So as the diagram shows here, right, there are, at a high level, there are 4 tracks, right? You have the administrator track that kind of branches into the implementation experts track, right? It is more of a functional track, the second column, Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, right? And within administration, you can also become an advanced administrator. So there are 2 certifications at this level, and there are 2 more at the implementation expert level. And very recently, very recently, hardly a month ago, Salesforce has introduced totally 3 new certifications for the developer track. Right? There is a small update that is needed on this diagram, because what is shown below the architect column is basically the developer track, and we do have a separate architect track. I'll talk about the architect track also later. So who can take the developer track, right? So someone who has been in say Java, .NET, you're already a good programmer, you have some experience, yeah, you can start as a developer. You start it as a Salesforce app builder, right? That's the first certification you can do. And then you move on and you do the SFDC developer part 1, part 2, which is kind of, that's where your real developer skills are tested, right? So they split this into 2 parts. Earlier it was called as Developer 501, Advanced Developer. You can see it at the bottom of the screen, but they very recently, very recently, they just launched it few days ago. You have the developer, advanced developer track has been split into 3 parts, right? So they have split the developer track, app builder, which is more of a declarative option. Then they talk about Salesforce Developer 1, Developer 2. This kind of contains a mix of integration expertise, design patterns, architecture, all of that, right? And then finally the ultimate goal can be that you become an architect, Salesforce certified architect. That would be a journey of at least 4 to 5 years in Salesforce. Or let's say you have 5 years in other areas, right? You're already an expert designer who knows all the Java design patterns and everything. Probably for you it's a 2 to 3 year journey, right? But where do I start, right? So there has to be a beginning, right? So the best place to start is to start here, right, at the administrator foundation level, then move on to your other levels, right? You go into implementation expert, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and then you go for the developer. So the important point about developer track, right? So even though they have highlighted administrator and developer as 2 separate tracks, at the foundation level, there is a good amount of things which are common. Around 60–70% of them is common to both the developer as well as the administrator track. So it's always a good starting point. And then over a period of time, you move to the advanced developer, which has been written as Salesforce Developer 1, Developer 2, and then you move on, right? So this is at a high level your tracks that are available. So you can also get more information about this from the certification.salesforce.com website that's been given here. So they provide you the certification options and how you can go about it, right? But the training part is absolutely essential, because if someone's new, someone's coming into the platform, the training is one of the key elements that makes you a better consultant. And then you plan for it over a period of time and then start moving, right, in the Salesforce world. So today we are going to primarily talk about the foundation course, right, that we are launching very soon. So this particular course that we are offering from Edureka will help students prepare for the Admin 201 certification. And this is one training course which probably covers all the aspects that is required for a ADM 201 certification. So even if you go for the standard training that's available from any of the other Salesforce, the training providers, there are areas where they expect you to do some self-study. Right? There are certain areas where they kind of let the student do something on their own. But what we have done is we have very consciously assessed the certification curriculum, and then our course is perfectly in line with the certification, right? That is the list of topics. I'll come to the list of topics soon. So we cover it in 30 hours of theory. Then, of course, we do have a good number of assignments, labs. Every module there are quizzes, and we also provide you some mock tests for the certification, right? So exactly in line with how the certification pattern is from Salesforce, right? So this will be delivered in the instructor-led online class online model, right? This particular course, and each one will get a dedicated development environment that is there on the cloud for free. This is available lifetime free for each and every student. And the good thing is you don't have to worry about installing software on your laptops or desktops and go through a lot of hassles about installing them, because typically I've seen certain environments take a lot of time to just get started, whereas in Salesforce you don't have the hassle of going through that, right? You just get started instantly, right? And then the training, this course, the objective is to help you or enable you on the certification preparation, and the certification which is awarded by Salesforce, right? Which is like an external certification, right? So whatever I showed you in the previous slide about the certifications provided by Salesforce, right? So that has to be taken up separately. There are different options available. You can take it online, you can book for it online, and you can take it from the comfort of your home, or you can visit a particular test center, authorized test centers, and then take the exam. So we'll definitely just give you the directions in terms of how you can do this, right? And then in terms of what is required, I think I'm sure all of you are already having the basic infrastructure that is required, because the fact that you're attending this webinar just shows that you're all ready, right? So that's another advantage in Salesforce, right? You don't have to be worried about too many things, whether your system is compatible, do you have the latest patch, this, that. So if you have the latest version of, Google Chrome or Firefox, or, even Microsoft Edge works, right? Even though it's not listed here, right? So recently my Windows 10, along with Windows 10, you have Microsoft Edge. Even that works for your training, right? So all you need is your internet connection with your browser up and running, right? And we'll also be giving you one project and also other reference material that is typically available, and that will kind of help you not only clear this certification, because certification is not the only target here, right? We are also looking at making you ready for the job, right? Making you ready for the industry, because most of them would be scenario based. The examples that we take would be based upon the overall experience that I have over the period of 5 to 6 years. So it will not be a typical pure theoretical based training, right? So because there is enough content available that if someone is ready to just read through books, you can do that. But here the key differentiation would be that we will be sharing some of the the limitations of the platform, or how you should what are the best practices, in each and every aspect, right? What should you do, right? Those are certain things which you will not come across in a typical a training or a study material, right? So that's the key, right? That's the key differentiator that we bring onto the table here, right? So this is, at a high level, right? The list of topics that are recommended by Salesforce for the certification and the weightage given in the certification exam, right? So we have aligned it in line with this. The entire curriculum that we are going to talk about, the course is going to be in line with this, and we'll be doing labs. We'll be doing also mock tests, and there will be one project that you can basically define the requirements, build all the things, all the functions that you need to do as an administrator, and then we'll also be highlighting the typical best practices, the do's and don'ts of the way you build your app, right? So that will also be part and parcel of the course, right? And then the project, right? So you will be finally delivering a project, right, in as a final output of this course. So we will be defining requirements. We'll be identifying which feature of Salesforce you can utilize, and then you do it on your own. So we encourage, we expect our students or the participants to do these projects on their own. The reason being, it gives you a strong foundation across the design aspects, development aspects as an administrator, right? It makes you a thorough professional, right, in the Salesforce world. And then you're not just ready for the certification, you're also ready for the projects, right? So you will be put through a typical situation there, right? And we'll do a project review. We'll provide you the feedback. We'll also share the solution. What are the best way to do it, right? And as a add-on, right, typically all Salesforce projects are run on Agile Scrum methodology today, right? So that's a separate course, but part of the training, we will be mixing up a bit of the key concepts from the Agile Scrum world, because that helps a lot, because typically Salesforce projects are done on Agile, right? Be it large enterprises, be it small companies, right? They go for Agile, and because Salesforce recommends, that the projects are run in the Agile model, right? So faculty, I think I've given a quick introduction about myself, so I will probably skip this, right? And I will just take a minute, right? I'll just show you what the platform is about, right? I'll spend a few minutes here, and then I will, utilize the remaining for any questions that you may have, right? So, all of you may be wondering what Salesforce is, right? What sort of, where is this position, right? So I thought I'll just share a few things, because we will be covering these things in one of the modules in the course. But I thought, I'll just talk about this a little bit here today, because it should give you a perspective of, how and what sort of content we are talking about, right, in the course, right? So if you see the Gartner reports, right, this is a report as of 2014 from Gartner, and even 2015 report is out, and I think Salesforce continues to be the leader in the platform as a service space, right, in the cloud computing space. And not just that, in the CRM space, Salesforce is the leader. So you can see clearly that in the leaders quadrant, all you have is Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, That's it. And Microsoft Dynamics and Salesforce, you can see the gap. And you don't have SAP or you don't have Oracle, Siebel, or you don't have anything even near Salesforce, right, in terms of the Gartner Magic Quadrant, right? And if you look at the platform as a service space, exactly the same, right? Particularly here, it's way ahead, right? Salesforce is way ahead of all the vendors. And again, you see that it's only Salesforce which is right at the top in the leaders corner. Right? This is recent reports, and they continue to be the leader even in the mobile enterprise world. I have not put that slide here, but there was a report which came out last month. So even on the mobile enterprise mobile development platforms, as per Gartner, Salesforce is the number one, right? So like I said, you don't have to learn Android programming, you don't have to learn iOS, all of this, in bits and pieces, and then develop code, right, for each platform separately. You just go to Salesforce, you develop your screens, they are responsive, they are mobile first, API enabled, it just comes up on your smartphone. And part of the training, we'll also be looking at some samples there, right? How quickly Salesforce converts something onto the mobile platform. And you can also administer your organization on the Salesforce platform. That's another powerful feature that is there, right? Right from your mobile device, you can do the administration activities. Not all of them, but some of them, right? They will keep adding probably more and more in the the coming months or quarters. But yeah, that's the direction they're taking, right? So let's just quickly look at this diagram, right? So if you look at the different building blocks, right? So this is at a high level, right, in a nutshell about Salesforce, right? So Salesforce 1 is the name that's given to the platform today. So prior to that, the last year before, they were talking about the Salesforce.com platform, Force.com. So today, if you look at it, right at the bottom, right, so like I said in the initial stages, you have cloud, you have social, mobile, and you have the connected world. So smart is addressed here, right? IoT is addressed here, right at the bottom. Then you have Force.com, which is the most important building block of the platform. And then you have other building blocks, right? We'll be talking about them in detail later. So if you look at the top, right, so you have Sales Cloud, you have Service Cloud, then you have Marketing Cloud, which is a recent acquisition, maybe 1.5 years back. And then you have App Exchange. This is similar to the Google Play Store or Apple, community where you download your apps, right? So these are the building blocks at a high level, right? And what is that you will be doing, right, as an administrator? You will be spending a lot of time on Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, or any other application that you build here, and the Force.com building block. So a good amount of your work involves these building blocks at the top, maybe not exact target, but the 3 other building blocks. Then the platform level, the app levels and the platform API level, and then Force.com. So this is just to highlight that, what is that you'd say when we say Salesforce 1, right? So what is Salesforce 1 about? So recently they have launched something very new, which is very specific to each and every vertical. The Sales Cloud modules have been customized to, say, financial service industry, insurance, things like that. So you do have an option as a customer to pick your vertical specific solution, right? And apart from that, mobility is almost a de facto thing, right? So it's not that mobility is a luxury anymore. Mobility is the default platform where you have to start, then only you think about desktop. So that's how Salesforce has done it. So they've introduced Salesforce One Lightning on the mobile platform last year, right? Everything is mobile enabled. And then now they brought the same platform, same Lightning platform to the classic desktop world, which means the end user, irrespective of where he is going to see the same look and feel, same technology, same platform. And that's the power of the platform, and that's the advantage you as a developer or as an administrator, right, or as a IT Salesforce consultant is going to enjoy, because you don't have to be worried about each and every device, each and every area, separately, right? You just build it, you design it, you launch it, and it's there on your mobile device. It's there on your, the laptops. Right? That's the power of the platform today, right? So I will take a pause here. Are there any questions that you would like to ask? You can type in the the question window, and then I'll read it out and then provide the answer. So we have another 5 to 10 minutes. So feel free to ask any questions about the platform or about the training course, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay, so we have a question. So I'll just read out one question. How easy is it for a mainframe expert of 10 years, to adapt to cloud computing? Right? I think this is a question from one of the participants, Harish. So, Harish, thanks for this question. So, if you remember my slide right at the beginning, right? So, I did talk about who can, take up Salesforce, right? So, more than the slide, right? I can give you real-time examples, right? So I was talking about running a Salesforce practice, which is we had more than 500 to 600 people, right? And you're not going to get 500 to 600 Salesforce experts, right? Straight away. So you take any of the large SIs, right? Be it Accenture, be it Deloitte, be it Infosys, TCS, any of the large companies. The way they did it is, the way of doing it, right? Any new technology is reskilling folks. And we need people with IT background, right? On other technologies, be it, mainframes, or be it AS400. There are people who have been on AS400 from, Cognizant, who have switched to Salesforce. So there are a good mix of people, right, who have switched to Salesforce. And the career options which are available, like I said, so you may not be very comfortable in object-oriented programming, right? You may not be a Java expert. That's okay, right? So you have different tracks available, right? So your overall IT experience is going to come very handy. Plus, switching for you is not going to be so difficult. There are good number of people who have made this move in the last 3 to 4 years across different organizations, right? So I'll move to another question from, I think it was something similar line, Srinivas. So I'm a .NET developer, and I had applications having some integration like fingering, right? So I think, if I'm not wrong, I think the question is about, integration and, how the overall thing comes into play, right? So being a .NET developer, it's pretty straightforward for you to switch to the Salesforce platform, right? So once you're done with the foundation level, you can always keep moving to the next levels, and your overall experience would come in handy. I'm sure you would have seen integrations in your previous other projects. So that all of that is going to come in handy for you, right? There is one more question. I'm an MCA pass out, 2014. I have less than a year experience. Can I take developer certification? Yes, you can. Yeah, so you can definitely go for the foundation level course, right? And over a period of time, you can target completing the foundation level certifications, and then you can make your way into the Salesforce world. So the key here would be to put in a lot of focused effort right after the training as well, right? And then definitely there are a lot of so many small companies, both in be it Bangalore or Hyderabad or even in the US. I know there are quite a few people who have started off as an administrator because they don't have all the experience, right? You start off there, and then slowly there are so many administrators who have become expert developers over a period of time, and they have also become MVPs, like Salesforce Most Valuable Players, over a period of 4 to 5 years. So it's a good place to start, and then you can keep moving. There is a question about okay, can we migrate, right? So migration, there are different options that are available. Salesforce provides for migration. Uh, so be it a Java or .NET based app or a legacy app which is running on some other technology. Um, so they do provide a platform migration plan, right? And then several customers move to the cloud platform. There's a question on the cost of the training, right? So I think this would be available on the Edureka site soon, and I think you can also write into the email ID that's available, and I think you will be able to get there as well. Yeah. There is one more question about I've done BTech in it. Yeah. So I'm assuming you recently passed out, right? This is a question from Rohit. I've done BTech in electrical and electronics engineering. Can I learn this? Yeah. So like I said in the webinar, the beginning, it is definitely a great place to start the foundation level for people who are new, who do not have any work ex, or people who have work experience and then uh, looking to switch, right? So this is the best place to start, and then you can make your next steps in the subsequent phases, right? So we have another 3 minutes to go. So please feel free to put in your questions. Uh, is it necessary to do a foundation level for doing developers? Yeah. So how we have structured this is right. Uh, and if you see the way Salesforce has structured it, right? So the foundation level helps in understanding the platform, what are the declarative options, and all the basic things related to the data model, security, and all these features. And then it is kind of a common platform to both the developer and the administrator. And then from there you branch out, right? You can do the developer app builder or your developer part 1, part 2, which is more of advanced programming in Salesforce, right? Salesforce also has a object-oriented programming language called Apex, right? So you can, I think we can probably take one more question. We have a minute to go. Okay, I think there is one final question. I'm a business analyst and use the front end of SFDC for extracting sales data, for supporting business reporting and data analytics. How does this course help me? Yeah, so it's a great question. So as a business analyst, right? Uh, you know, I'm sure you already are using Salesforce, right, for extracting data. So if you're looking for a career as an implementation expert in Salesforce, right? Like I showed in this particular screen, uh, you can start at the administrator level, which is more of a prerequisite, right? The foundation level. You get started there, and then you focus on probably the sales cloud or the service cloud consultant track, and then you probably are going to be one of the most sought after business analyst in Salesforce, right? So there is a clearly defined track for a business analyst in Salesforce, which is basically called as the implementation expert. So you have two more certifications which are available, right? So that's a very good career path that you can have down the line. And this course, this foundation course, is going to help you build the base. We are going to talk about Sales Cloud and Service Cloud at a high level. You'll understand what is Sales Cloud, what is Service Cloud, and then you can go for your next level certification. Okay, so I think we are done with the time window. So I think if you still have any questions, later that may come in, you can always email to us. I think I have one. Okay, fine. I think I don't have any question here. It was more of a message. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time, and we hope to hear from you in the future. Thank you.